Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of Val's Corner. I am your host, Valerie Bropleh, and you are having Corner Conversations with Val. Welcome back, guys. I told you guys I will be back. We're back to consistency, yay. But yes, I have a very special guest with me this week. You guys have already met her. You got to hear a little bit of her testimony, a little bit of her story. But in this podcast, this episode, I should say, I want it to be more intimate, more conversational based because we're talking about what it means to have a godly friendship. Woo! Because a lot of times we don't know the true definition of friendship. We know the words definition of friendship, but God defines friendship as something else. So you guys gonna meet my very own godly friend, Ms. Becca Rodriguez. Yes. Welcome back.
Thanks, bud.
You excited?
Yeah.
I'm cheesing so hard, guys, because I'm so excited. She's my favorite guest to have on, but she's the hardest to catch on, guys. But we got her on. We got her back. Yes. I'm excited. Mm-hmm. Excited to have Corner Conversations with Val again.
I am excited, yes.
Part two.
Part two, yeah. Part two.
So, guys, we're talking about godly friendship. And this is my one and only godly friend, I would say. She corrects me on what it means to be a friend, guys. She had to humble me because I was calling everybody my friend. And that was not the case. Exactly. So she had to teach me what a godly friend is. And while I was studying, and it was just like it only made sense to have Becca on because she taught me everything I need to know about having a friend. But today you guys gonna hear our side of our friendship and how it looks to have God as the center of our friendship and why it's so important. So yeah, you ready for the conversation?
I'm ready.
Okay, so last up, I always like to ask my guests their interpretation of our topic. So I want to know, what's your definition of a godly friend?
I knew you were gonna ask that. Okay, so Val knows me. A friend is a very, 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 very strong word. Yes. At least to me. And when I met her, everyone's my friend. I'm like, I think I got like 3. It's a strong word, but as far as a godly definition, someone who, one, isn't afraid to correct you as a friend, with love, of course. Someone, of course, as a friend would be in the physical realm, someone who's there, someone who always has your back, always cares for you, but also someone who has your back when you're not in the room as well. And also, the most important part for me, at least, is someone who can see you and knows who God has called you to be so that they can keep you on track too. If they see you're falling off or vice versa, if that person sees you're falling off, someone who can keep you on track with God, and someone who knows, hey, this is not who you're called to be, this is who you're called to be, and someone who can just come in with such love and care and just honor both of them and just value each other and just add, of course, both sides add into that friendship.
I'm so glad you said that because, again, you hit it on the nose. So, guys, I looked it up, the biblical meaning of friendship, because I wanted to, because there are a lot of Google versions, like I said, like she just said, a lot of versions of what we think a friend is. But according to God said a godly friendship are not in the relationship for what, friends are not in the relationship for what they can get out of it, nor do they abandon or betray friends in bad times. Biblical friends stick with you even when there is no perceived benefit in doing so, and even in the midst of adversity. So, like she says, pretty much someone who can be there for you even when they're not getting anything out of it. It's not like I do something for you, so you do something for me kind of friendship, but they're doing it out of the love and that God put in their heart to do it. And I would say that's you, because even with people you don't even consider to be your friend, you're still there for them, and that's the God in you, I would say. Because sometimes I'm like, I still don't know why you're talking to this person. Honestly, I would have dropped them a long time ago. But you're the kind of person that I have come to know, you don't give up, and I never understood why. I sometimes I still don't. I'm not being honest, guys. Like, you don't give up on a person. And you would go out your way for another person, even though you're literally getting nothing out of it, realistically. Let's be honest. You're not getting anything out of it. So it's like, while I was steady and like actually knowing the definition, it was like, you're just doing what God told you to do. And I was not. I ain't gonna lie to you. Like, I never lie on this podcast. I'm one to expose myself. So it's like, were you raised like that way to like when it comes to showing people that love or being there for them, or is it something you had to learn over time or read?
I would honestly say a big part would have to do with how I was raised, especially with my parents being pastors. That whole thing of them preaching God meets people right where they're at. The only reason why I was able to agree with it right when they said it is because growing up, I felt like that's what my parents showed us. No matter how much they got talked about, no matter who did them wrong, no matter what was said, what rumor they knew was going around, but they're like, I'm not going to let people know. Like, all they showed was love. No matter, sometimes they showed love and got back the opposite, and they were like, this is literally what we're called to do. I'm going to love you. I'm going to love you. And honestly, growing up, sometimes I'm like, I was like you, honestly, like, why are you still talking to this person? Why are you still like, this person already showed you, why are you? And it wasn't until I had that conversation with my mom, and I remember being so frustrated. We were texting, and I'm literally crying because I'm like, you know, when you see like someone getting treated the way they shouldn't, because it's like, you deserve so much better. Like, I want you to have genuine people around you. So I was having a conversation with her, and she's like, yo, you got to realize, like, I'm in it, like, for God. I'm really not in it for the people. Yeah, it's great to have friends here on earth. It's such a bonus. Like, we need that. God has called us to fellowship with one another. But she's like, listen, you're going to find those friends that you need basically on that level that you're on. Okay. You got to be careful with who you're around. You got to be careful with how much of yourself you're giving to each other, or to other people, I should say. But she was like, it could be painful. Because honestly, sometimes it is painful when you're like, oh, I want to be friends with such and such. And you're like, it just never works out. Yeah. And she even said, like, it could be painful, but that just means God is just stretching you. God has you somewhere else. So for me, it was kind of hard to learn, honestly. Like, I think about it, I'm like, ugh. But, like, there's so many benefits, although it doesn't seem like there is. So it took a minute for me to learn, and you've seen me throughout college. Like, there were some people that I didn't want to let go, and I'm like, no, I still want to help them. And I look back now, I'm like, wow, that had to be God. And I look back and I'm like, I wouldn't even give you my time now. Like, what? But it definitely would be a mixture of my parents and even God speaking to me. Because I'll never forget, there was this particular person that I was helping her out, constantly, like, pouring, like, to the point where I was drained. I'm like, oh my gosh. And I'll literally never forget this because I started crying. I, like, told myself, I was like, you know what? I'm done. I'm not helping this person anymore. Like, I gave them all I could give. Like, I've studied, I've this, I've that, I've poured. I'm done. I'm not doing it. And literally, I was so mad because I knew what God was saying was true, but I was like, all right. But literally, right then and there, I heard God whisper. It was, like, so clear. And he was like, Becca, how would you feel if I gave up on you? And I was like, I literally threw my phone. I was like, all right, like.
Those be so annoying.
All right. But when you have that, like, I don't want to say that voice, but God does speak in us. But when you just have that desire to want to be more like God, I feel like he just instills that in you. Like, he instills that love in you to want to love people the right way. Which, and it's like you said, like, sometimes it's not even us. It's just the God in us. Yeah. And we don't even realize. And I feel like, even for you, too, like, I see you doing stuff, and I'm like, oh, and then I'm like, that was God in her. Like, I know Val. She wouldn't.
I wouldn't.
But, yeah.
I wouldn't have the time. No. So, you know me.
Yeah.
You know, she's the one person I'm scared because she knows me so well. Like, you can read me like a book. It's dangerous sometimes. Jeez. But when it comes to people and, like you said, giving access to people, my issue is, still working on it, guys. I give too much access.
Yes, you do.
And sometimes I don't know if it's the God in me or I'm just naive or I'm just really that good. I'm really not that good. But it's like, I had to learn the hard way. I feel like I'm still learning, actually. Where it's like, I don't know if it's such a thing like being too given. Like you said, I use the word friend loosely, but like, I feel like in my mind, I feel like everyone is my friend because like if I'm willing to like go the extra mile for you and I love on you and things like that, I feel like, hey, that's what a friend is. So it's like sometimes finding that healthy boundary of like, I love you and I want to be your friend. I want to be there for you. I want to do all these things for you. But at the same time, it's like, I'm not getting, like, guys have a biblical friendship, it's like not getting anything in return. So it's like, sometimes knowing that balance is like, is this a godly friendship? Because I'm giving all of me. You have access to me. You have, like, I'm available whenever you need it. But I never get anything in return. So it's like, is that a biblical friendship or is it something else? Because I feel like as humans, people take advantage of it. So it's like, where is the balance? Because when it comes, I feel like it's like for me, it's tricky. So it's like because God said we don't get anything in return. So it's like I'm not receiving anything from this person, but I love doing what I'm doing. I love being there for people. I love giving them my time. If you like, I'm the type of friend. If you need me, I'm there. Like literally, just text. Like if you need something, I would drop whatever I'm doing and I'll do it for you.
Yeah.
Like texting people to check up, that's a different thing. But like literally, if you need me, I would literally drop what I'm doing. I'll be there for you. But then it's like in reverse, like. But I know in my mind that person wouldn't do it for me.
Yeah. Okay, so it's kind of funny because I just had this conversation with my mom, literally this week. So, but she was actually telling me that's an important part with life, trying to determine where you put people in your life. So she said there should always be different categories, obviously different types of boundaries.
Yeah.
You got to know who you can go to for what. When you could go to them, what can you express to certain people? But as far as when it comes to a friendship, a godly friendship, I would say, and I've learned this from her as well, I would say just look at the value. So I know for a fact there's some people that I hold on to because I know I'm adding value to them. And she said, if you're adding value to them, you have to see, like, is it spiritual value? What is it? Sometimes God will have people around you who's not really... You shouldn't really say a friend, but he has them assigned to you because you add value to them and they need that value. Okay. So although it's one-sided, I know that's also an assignment. So I can't, I add value to me, be my best friend. It could just simply be God telling you, listen, I'm placing her here in your life right here in this season. You're going to add this to her. I need you to pour in this to her for this season. And that's it. Call it a day. Okay. And honestly, it could be backwards. So there could be other friendships, if you want to call it that, where you don't really feel like you're adding, but they're adding value. And that could be okay because that could even be like a mentor. Usually they're the ones pouring, and they're adding all that value. Now, I wouldn't be like, yeah, you're my friend. You got to be careful now. There's a fine line. Yeah. As far as a godly friendship, I feel like the value is on both sides. It's reciprocated. I know, yes, I value you so much. I'm even pouring value into this friendship, pouring value into who I know God has created you to be. I'm pouring value into you, although I've seen you in your nakedness. I've seen you in your darkest days, but I just value our friendship so much and who God wants us to be that I'm here with you. And when you have that person who has that same attitude back, that to me is like, oh yeah, this is it. This is a godly friendship. It's not, I give you 80, you give me 20. Oh, in the next season, I can only give you this. That friend is just, it's honestly like you, to be honest. Hold on, before I move forward. Homegirl texted me, literally, right before we were going to record this episode.
Who said you can expose me?
Talking about, you like to be real. Talking about, I've been studying and everything, and I've really looked into what a godly friendship is, and I apologize because I feel like I haven't been that for you. Blah, 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 blah. If you don't want to do this, you don't have to. And what was my response?
She said, let's do it.
I just said, let's do it. And I literally read it. I shook my head, and I was like, girl, because reality is, and I was thinking all throughout this morning, because I'm thinking, like, why would she text me that? And I'm just shaking my head. Sometimes you don't realize the value you add into other people's lives. And I feel like that could be you sometimes. Although, yes, we've had our ups and downs, whatever.
Have we?
Homegirl has, I have to say, I cannot discredit her. Homegirl has been there no matter what. Down literally till if we need someone to watch my grandparents, she's there.
That's not Mama and Papa.
Yeah, whatever. So anyways, I honor you, and you have to know that you are a real friend. Okay? I don't like to be sentimental, but she's a real friend, guys. And yeah, I feel like you also like are the epitome, just like you said to me, as what a godly friend should be. Because yeah, we've had our ups and downs, but I've always gotten that value from you. No matter what. It could be, I have a low tolerance. So like
Low's not the word.
I'm the type that like, all right, I've seen you for a week, now give me a month. Like I'll see you next month. But it doesn't matter where we are. We could literally like she can get the hint and be like, all right, I won't speak to her this week. But I even know even if we don't speak for a week or two, the value is still there. Like at the end of the day, it is literally still there. So you have to know, okay, this may be an assignment. I may just be pouring into this person. But this person, we're just like, it's reciprocated. Like when I'm low, they got me. When they're low, I got them. Or this is, okay, I got to be careful. I shouldn't label this as a friendship. This person was called to help me. Mm-hmm. So having to know what category, like Pastor Liz said, to place those people in. But also, like you said, like not taking advantage. You have to know there's a greater purpose between every person here.
I'm glad you said that, like knowing, putting people in certain categories. Because that's something you actually taught me to do because, like I said, I was calling everybody my friend. I thought everyone was my friend because I'm just that nice, okay? I just want everyone to love me and be my friend. But that's deeper issues, but we're not going to get into that today.
Unpack that.
It's coming. But so it's like when it comes to like friends and things, because Pastor always preach about like it matters who you're surrounded by.
Yeah.
It like growing up so much, like growing up in like with church with God, and like that statement has never been true. It truly matters who your circle is. I literally wrote it down. It's like your circle matters. They can harm you or help you. And then I took Pastor Lee Bible study, Access to 9. It was really, because when it comes to like certain friendship, like they really can, like you said, you felt so drained. Mm-hmm. And then there's certain friend that will like pour into you that you can reach, like you know you can reach out to, but like some friendship literally ruined you and gives you trauma because like
gives you trust issues.
I got so many. But so it's like putting certain people in like that category. Hey, I know, like, hey, we're not really friends, but I know if I were to call you and ask you a question, you would answer it. Mm-hmm. And vice versa. Or sometimes, like you said, sometimes you're just an assignment. God put it in my heart. I'm going to pray for you. Yeah. I'm going to be there for you if you need anything spiritually. And that's that. And that's okay. Yeah. I'm learning it's okay to put people in categories. It's okay to not have everyone have access to you.
Yeah.
Because I was given so much, like, I was telling people this and this and this and that. And then eventually it bit me in my behind. Because now everybody knows these different parts of me.
Yeah.
And they can do whatever they want with it.
Say whatever, yeah.
Literally. So it's like, I had to learn that the hard way. Mm-hmm. So if you don't have to learn it the hard way, don't. Just be careful. Save yourself because it hurts. So now with me, it's like, well, how do I word this? Like, sometimes, like I said, when it comes to finding that healthy balance with things, because sometimes I go for it, for it, or sometimes I go fully out. Mm-hmm. So knowing that healthy balance of when not to, like, because if I tell myself something, I believe it. Mm-hmm. It's bad, guys. So it's like learning the healthy balance of not sharing too much.
Yeah.
But also sharing enough to the right person. How do you find that healthy balance? Like, because I'm still working on it. I'm still like, because now it's like, I feel like I'm sharing too much to certain people and I don't want to put that burden on them. So it's like, how do I know, one, what to say to the people I've put in this category and what not to say at the same time? Mm-hmm. Like, I don't want to give too much, but I also don't want to give little. Like, I don't know what to share, like, say it's to the right person. I don't want to, like, maybe it's too much. Maybe it's too many word vomit. Like, I'm saying too much now. So then I get in my head, like, I won't say anything at all.
Are you talking about when it comes to, like, helping people?
Just no, and just in general, like, or having someone help me. Like, when it comes to helping people, I'm fine. Like, give me your problems. I love the trauma. If you have trauma, give it to me. That's fine. But it's like with my own, it's a social worker. I mean, it's like my own trauma. Like, when I need help. Because now I have everybody placed in this category. It's like, but now it's like, who do I share what to and how much of it? Because then I get scared and that's like, then I don't share at all. Yeah. So how do you find that healthy balance in sharing what to all these different people?
Wow. Okay, that's pretty tough for me because I don't like speaking to a lot of people, so it's easy for me. But as far as sharing, for me, when it comes to, oh, such came to me with this problem, I can relate, but should I share this story? To me, it's always been a feeling. I never want to, you always want to protect your testimony, basically. Yeah. You always want to protect your story, but you never want to give a baby like a piece of meat. Mm-hmm. So if it's someone coming to me with like such a little problem to me, but it's a huge problem to them, I'm not going to throw out, here's my testimony. They're going to be like, huh? What does that mean? Like, you have to, and for me, honestly, it's always a feeling. Like, there's always a feeling on the inside of me of like, do I share this part? What should I share? And there's been times where I've gone to share some things, and it's like the Holy Spirit's like, shut up. Like, don't say that. Like, don't. Like, it's always, to me, it's always been a feeling. Yeah. So I'm like, all right. So, and I've actually talked about this with David too. Like, when it comes to people asking questions, whether it's relationships or they want to know something that happened to you personally, like, where does the line come in? Like, what can you? And after talking, we're both like, it's easier sharing something that you've already overcome. Now, I'm not. If you come to me saying, "Hey, I'm struggling with like lust or something," right? Am I gonna like share like, oh my gosh, me too? Like, no, we're gonna try to make each other feel better. Like, oh my gosh, we're both struggling. But if you say, hey, I'm struggling with lust, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I've overcome that. Okay, let me talk to you about it. Because I know even if you tell me you're struggling, you're not gonna trigger something in me because God's already delivered me from it. Okay. As far as that. As far as when you go to people for wisdom, because the Bible always says seek wisdom all the time. But it's kind of like what our pastors have always preached. I'm not gonna go to someone who, if me and you are struggling in the same class, I'm not gonna be like, oh, let's go to her because she's also struggling. Like, no, you gotta seek wisdom. Who would you then go to? The professor. Yeah. If the professor's not available, the professor always has tutors sitting aside from them. So I feel like with us, it's the same. If we can't go to the pastor, okay, pastor, who could you like point me to? And they also have, well, in the spiritual realm, obviously leaders, but it's almost like tutors here on earth. Like, let me see if I can find a tutor for you. Yeah. So it's trying to find that person and not being afraid to talk to that person, knowing that I know people use the word higher, but they're at a higher level than you. Because honestly, that's what we have to find. Someone at a higher level, someone who we know has overcome things that we're still struggling with. Yeah. The hardest part is being willing to ask for help. That's the hardest part. And I know me and you are the same in that aspect of we're like, no, we got it. We got it. It's okay. But no help. That's the hardest part. And then when you get that help, it's like, do I want to tell you or should I? And honestly, I'm like, is that a pride thing? Is that but
that was gonna be it's not like a pride thing, like not. Yeah. Because like, I love when people give me their problems. Like, right. I would meant to you. It's so
like, let me tell you what God said.
This is what you got. A, B, C, D, D. But like, when it comes to me, I'm still working on it. I'm still working on it. Because I even tried to get me a therapist. Didn't work out.
No? Oh, goodness.
Yeah. God really needs to do real work on me. Because
something will come up.
Because it's like, you never want to be a burden to anyone. Like, you don't want to feel like a burden. So it's like, do I want to, hey, I'm struggling, and this is da-da-da-da, so help me. I feel like I'm putting my problems on you. I'm like, not you personally, but like on that person. Yeah. So it's like, how do I not feel like I'm doing that? And realistically just ask for help.
I feel like, because I sometimes have that issue too, but I feel like part of it is the value that you see in yourself. Like, do you value yourself enough to get uncomfortable and get the help that you need, or would you rather just stay there? Because honestly, I've always had this perspective of, I got it. I'm gonna do it on my own. I got it. Like, no one has to know. Like, it's all right. I'm gonna pray and but realistically speaking, that's not even realistic. Like, that's not even how God called us to operate. Like, He has even sent help. Yeah, so
He made too.
And I feel like part of that is like the value you see in yourself. And honestly, that's something I've been working on too. Like, being honest with yourself. Like, yo, I need to love myself enough to want to get out of here And if that means going to somebody that you usually wouldn't even talk to, it's like, I gotta love myself enough to get uncomfortable so that I can then grow. Because the problem is, it's like, oh, I don't want to be a burden, and that's comfortable for us.
Yeah.
It's so comfortable to let me handle this. I don't want to be a burden on you, which means I can stay comfortable here trying to handle it all by myself. When in reality, us, our own human being, we don't have the answers. We can't deliver ourselves. We can't.
Imagine.
If that was the case, that'd be cool. But that's what I would say. Maybe it could be something different for you. I know for me, it's like, all right, I need to value myself more to get uncomfortable. And honestly, I feel like for other people, it could be different. Like, and I only just found that out recently from like sitting down, reflecting. And then lately I've been going out with my mom a lot and just hearing her talk. And I'm like, wow. Like sometimes she's saying stuff and I just stay silent and I'm like, that just hit me. Like, wow. But it could be that. Others, as we would know, social working, it could be trauma of everyone I grew up with always made me feel like what I said didn't matter. My feelings don't matter. They don't have space for what I'm about to say. They don't care for what I'm feeling, what emotion I'm feeling at this time. So now that I'm grown, I got me. And me is all that I have.
Yeah.
When in reality, that's just like, I don't want to sound spiritual, but that's like the enemy trying to speak to you like, yeah, you are all you have. You're your own person. Like, you can't get with anybody else. You can't talk to anybody else. When in reality, God is like, yo, I promise you, if you come to homegirl that I'm trying to assign you to help you, you will be okay. Like, but that's what he does. Like, we have trauma sometimes that we don't speak about, and that's like the worst thing, like that unspoken trauma. Or sometimes we even are aware of that, but we just stay there because it's like, it's all I know. And now that's my norm. So it's okay if I don't tell anyone what I'm going through. And there's honestly people out there that's like, they'd rather die silently than to get that help.
Yeesh.
And it's scary. But even that has to do with, do I value myself enough to get help with my trauma so that I can then get delivered from what it is that I'm going through? So it's like, for me, I feel like it's more so like I need to value myself more, but for anyone, it could be something different or even deeper. Yeah.
Ouch.
Sorry.
I'm the trauma one. Yeah, that's me.
Oh, my fault. I triggered you.
Yeah, just a little bit. So, but it's all right. You know,
That's great.
It's all right. God is great. He already told me that. So it's like, I'm fine, you know. But yes, I am the trauma one who, it's not like I felt undervalued with my family, but it's like African, you know, for our Africans out there,
Y'all
our
rough.
our 21st Africans out there. It's growing up. It's like, it's not a norm to share your feelings or how you're feeling. Like, it's not, I don't want to say we're not sentimental people, but if any of my family members are watching, I love you guys. I really do. I love y'all. But like, y'all made me tough. Thank you, but no thank you. Like, they made me so independent that
Pros and cons.
you guys have, my friends, I'm so grateful for my friends because they have uprooted and changed my whole life sometimes, changing my perspective on things. They have been doing the little work that God told them to do, because for me, I still am. I'm working on it, but I'm very independent where I feel like I gotta do everything.
You are.
So it's like, I don't need nobody else. I got that from my grandma, Miss Regina. You're the GOAT, but at the same time, you ruined me a little bit. Because she's so independent.
Yeah.
I've seen her do everything by herself. And she had a whole husband.
Yeah.
A whole husband. I love my grandfather.
It.
She is like, she still cut her grass at 74, guys. See what she's doing there to me?
No. Grandma got it.
She got it. Like, there's no way. So it's like, I grew up where it's like, we don't share our feelings. Yeah. It's like, it's not like we sit around, hey, I feel sad today. Or when I was depressed, like, I had to literally lie to my grandma when, like, the school caught me, in a sense. Like, I was like, Grandma, they're lying. I'm not depressed. I just miss my friend. Because I didn't know how she would handle that. We don't talk about those stuff. We don't talk about the history of depression in my family. We don't talk about the mental health. We don't talk.
Period.
We don't talk. So it's like, for me, I had to handle so many things by myself. Like, so many silent battle words. It had to be me and God. Or, like, there were times where God made me reach out to you, where he literally, like, it's either you like do this or you're gonna die.
Or you're done.
I'm
Yeah.
done. I had no choice. So it's like I'm glad I had no choice. So there were times where I would reach out to you to help me and things like that. But then it's like I always have that in the back of my head. It's like I don't want to be.
I don't want to. Yeah.
So it's like I kept training myself to like just share with God. But like realistically, He did not make that for a reason. He brought humans on earth for us to share these things with people. He put people in our life to share. So I'm like retraining my mind, trying to do the trauma. I even asked for help. I got my pastor, family, and mentor. Yay! Shout out my mentor. Can't wait to start. So it's like I'm taking the little steps to break that trauma curse, but it's still hard because it's like
you were trained in a way.
I'm trained.
Yeah.
I'm trained to not rely on any people. It's like if I have to do something, I'm gonna do it myself. I got still doing things like that. I'm gonna figure it out. Yeah, I'm still doing it. Like I need to fix something, I'm gonna fix it myself. I'm gonna find someone to fix it. Like I'm gonna do it.
Yeah.
Like it's bad. Like I really need to stop. Guys, I'm doing it better for my own good. But it's like that trauma. It's like Pastor always said. You're my pastor. Your mother, but my pastor.
My pastor.
My pastor always says you have to get to the root.
Yeah.
And like when you know roots, when this planet in, you can't like just lift. You got cut and then make sure you get deep in there, not little.
Yeah.
That's me. Because every time I try to pulling things out, I ain't pulling nothing. I'm really not.
What you mean?
Like sometimes, like I sit with God and it's just like, yeah, God, we did it. Let's go. No, it's still there.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm getting to the act, like sometimes the real root
The
issue,
actual,
like
yeah.
because sometimes you just pull it. You know how you pull annoying weeds? If you don't get it all, it grows back. That's me. We're pulling the God's pulling the weeds. We pulling the things.
Yeah.
But like the root is what it's like. It's hard, and I'm trying to find a healthy balance on like requesting for help, asking for help, helping for advice, and not feeling like it's being a burden. So it's like when it comes to like friendship and things, I've gotten burned so much in the past that I do have trauma when it comes to friends. Like so I've been too open. I've been through too giving, and it's like to the point where like I don't have friends. I have godly friends, and that's good. I'm fine with those. I'm like at this point in my life, we ain't stopping no more applications, y'all. It's closed. I'll love on you. I'll be there for you. But when it comes to like the actual definition, because it's like I remember, during my spiritual warfare, dark times, But I remember we're sitting in the car and I was listing you asked me to list all my friends.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
And I was listing all my friends. She was like, no, that's not your friend. No, that's not your friend. And then she asked this very, very good question. Because in the Bible, it said a friend is one you would lay your life for. And you literally was like, would you die for this person? I said, no. Heck no. So she's like, yeah, then that's not your friend. I'm like, no, that's still my friend. Just because I'm not willing to die for them, don't mean that's not my friend. But while reading, God had to humble me because it's like, it's in the book. It's in the Constitution.
He's like, I said that.
I said it. So it's like, you have to be willing to lay your life. And he had to ask me this question. When I finally listed all the people I consider a friend.
Yeah.
And I was like, when I had to answer the question, would I die for them? You should be happy to know I will die for you.
Oh, thanks.
Then you're welcome. God had to elevate me, see? Because now I would die for you guys. Don't make me do.
Your producer's shaking her head.
Yeah. I would die for you too, Nessie. I would. So now it's like, for the other people, I'm glad I said no. Because I'm not dying for y'all. Because look what y'all at. I would have been dead for no reason.
Oh,
so,
my gosh.
If you can answer this question, realistically, if you would lay your life for this person, that's a godly friendship. Because that's a log. Because the only person I know who laid their life for me was Jesus. He paid the ultimate sacrifice. That's the ultimate friend. That's we close. So it's like, if you're willing to lay your life for one person, it's like, that's so selfless. That's so, like, you're giving of yourself. You're willing to literally be gone so this person will live.
Yeah.
And I got overwhelmed when I answered yes to all these questions. I'm like, God, you sure? I had to be honest, because that's a lot, guys, to lay your life for one person.
And sometimes we take it literal, because it does say lay your life, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, would you die? But another, like, revelation I got from that is not so much so, like, are you willing to die for me? Like, are you going to take this bullet so I don't die? But more so, like, me saying, you know what? I'm willing to allow God to use me for you. Because in a sense, God could use you or God could want to use you, but it's like, again, we have that option. Say God says, I want you to pray for this person. You're like, and you're fighting with it. But that friend is one who, no matter what, no matter how uncomfortable, if God placed something in me, I'm allowing myself to lay down my flesh and allowing God to use my spirit so that I can help you. So not more so in a sense of I'm going to die physically, but more so of I'm allowing my flesh to die so that my spirit can now speak to your spirit and we can now be on one accord.
Sheesh, I read that too. Oh,
look at that.
We don't want to accord, guys. It's because like dying to yourself, like dying to your needs, dying to your uncomfortability. So if God's like, go to war with this person, pray with this person, are you willing to say, yeah, I'm gonna do it?
Kill your flesh and do it. Yeah.
Because sometimes, realistically, sometimes we don't want to. We don't want to pray for this person. We don't want to. I'm exhausted.
Yeah.
They weren't even there for me, God. But like, God's like, will you do this if I assign you to do something for this person? Are you really willing to do that?
Yeah.
Are you willing to step out of your comfort zone? Are you willing to pray for this person, pray with this person, go to war for this person, bring them out of whatever they're going through? But even though you don't want to.
Yeah.
So that's the ultimate test. And I would like to say, you did that for me, Paul.
Oh my God.
So guys, remember we talked about spiritual warfare and how dark of a time that was. I don't remember if I ever mentioned the person name who got me through it. Hi guys. Say hi.
Hey.
So that was her, guys. She was the person who literally fought for me. Not with me, because your girl wasn't fighting during that period.
No, you wasn't.
I was not at all. She literally fought for me, even if it hurt. Like, during that period, I was a jerk. We talked about this. I was a jerk to her.
Okay.
But she died to herself, died to what she knew what was comforter for her. Like, because realistically, if someone's here coming at you, you're not going to want to do it.
Yeah.
But you put aside your flesh needs and listen to God and help me. Like, you, notice I wasn't okay before anyone else noticed. You realized that, hey, this is not okay. This is not who she is. And you went to war for me. And you fought to pull me out of that. Thank you.
No problem.
So that is literally, I feel like that's what a friend is, who knows you and knows, like she said before, knows the calling on your life and is willing to fight for you, like, because they know what God has put in their life. And who knows, if she hadn't fought, guys, there wouldn't be a Val's Corner. Just saying, who knows, realistically, because she pulled me, like, when I tell you guys she fought for me, yeah, she fought. Like, I was saying things like, leave me alone, I don't want to do this. She said no. So, and I wanted to say that because, like, when it comes to, like, friendships and things like that, I've always been the one fighting for people. Like, I'm always the one like, don't leave me.
Yeah.
Again, that goes to my own trauma, other trauma. But it's like, I want them to stay in my life more than they want to stay in, like, mine. So it's like, to be on the other end of that, seeing how someone truly value you and value what God has put in you, they're willing to fight for you. One, I was not used to that. I didn't know, like, what that was. I was like, oh, that's what that feels like. Wow. So it's like, it felt like, looking back now, it's like, wow. That's what that looks like. That's what that feels like. And I just want to say thank you, because, like, a lot of people have left my life, and, like, without second thought. And I'm over here like, don't leave me, don't leave me, don't leave me. And I'm over here trying to pull away from you, get out of your life when you were saying no. Like, you were literally saying no. Like, I don't know. I still don't know how you did it, girl. But it was a different feeling for me because I wasn't used to someone fighting for me. It felt like a shock to my system. So I want to ask you, during that period, what was going through your mind?
Okay.
Like, on the other...
How real are we getting?
It's Val's Corner. I expose myself every day. So, if this is going to help someone, we can get real.
Okay. I think back and I'm like, oh my gosh.
Dark time.
It was just a lot. It was a lot.
Longest 6 months.
Yeah, it was a long 6 months. So for me, I'll be honest. At first, this all started with, I would assume, thoughts, right?
Oh, heck
So
yeah.
thoughts on her side and And I knew it was off because she had all these thoughts about me and she was saying all these things. And I'm like, I'll be honest, my first initial response was like, all right, whatever. I don't got time. Like, you want to believe what you want to believe, whatever, right? Honestly, that was my first. And I had people saying, talk to her. I'm like, nah, like, she can believe what she wants. She could do whatever. Like, that was it. Like, because I was so used to rumors all the time. People making stuff up about me. People doing all this. Oh, this one said this to this one. Now this one has drama with this one. Now I got to fix this problem over here, then fix this problem over here. So I was so used to that I'm like, I don't have the energy for another episode. So I'm like, no, I'm not doing it. I'm like, whatever. Like, whenever she's ready, that's it. But then I noticed with time, I'm like, it's getting worse. She's not talking. Now you weren't talking to nobody. Or if you were, it was like 2 people. I'm like, she doesn't even talk to those people. I'm like, what's happening, right? So, like, the fleshy part of me is like, oh, whatever. She believed what she wanted to believe. She didn't even ask me. It's what. That was my fleshy part, right? And, again, used to it because you've seen all throughout college how literally every single year it was something with somebody. Oh, this year, someone made something about me. This year, someone said this to someone about me. And this year, oh, someone said that I said this, but I was never even there. Now this, like, it was literally episode after episode. And I'm like, I'm not doing nothing. Like, she would even say, like, Becca's home. Like, how is she getting dragged into all of this? So I'm like, I'm not on campus. But, so honestly, my initial reaction was like, it's just happening again, right? Another one. DJ Khaled, another one, right? And I'll never forget, I'm sitting in my car. I had gotten home from somewhere. I don't know why I was by myself. It was literally Saturday night. So we had church the following morning, but I'm sitting in my car and I'm thinking about it. And I'm like, something is so off. I'm like, this isn't just, I don't know why it just clicked. I'm like, this isn't just like another, like, oh, like there's just drama. I'm like, something's off, right? And I don't know why. I just heard my mother's voice in my head because it was one women's ministry that we had. Yeah. And I don't know if it was the one where she was talking about it was a matter of a heart or if it was something else. And she was saying sometimes we're so caught up in looking at the person in the physical realm of, oh, she's being petty, she's this, she's that we're not even able to discern when there's really a spirit on that person or when really that person's under attack and the enemy has gotten to them. I don't know why that like laid so heavy on my heart and it like just clicked and I was like, oh my gosh. And I'm like, this isn't Val. Like, Val doesn't ignore people. Val doesn't make stuff up. I'm like, oh my gosh. Like, that's like when it all clicked and I'm like, she's under attack. Now, I can't be mad if someone's under attack. I have like, if the enemy tells you something, you know, once you let the enemy in, you run with it. So
it's over. When
I was explaining it to another one of our friends and I told her like, yo, I said, this is not her. I said, this makes sense. She's under attack. I'm like, we got to help. It's almost like we're like, all right, we got to pull her out. Like, this isn't just, oh, she just made something up. So my initial was like, I don't want to do this. I don't care. But then when it clicked, I was like, oh, shoot. Like, all right. Like, now we got a war. Because, again, friendship is not just about, oh, hey, oh, you shut up here, I shut up. Like, your godly friendships, if that's what you want to label them, should be so valuable that you trust one another's discernment. Like, God is able to speak to both of y'all through each other, through your spirit. So I felt like God was just revealed it to me, like, she needs help. You gotta help her. Like,
thank you.
Yeah. So I was like, oh my gosh. So I think I texted like 2 or 3 people in our friend group. And I texted her, I was like, yo, when we see her tomorrow morning, we gotta pray, we gotta grab her, we gotta I was like, we gotta cover her. And they were just like, all right. And that's what I love about our friend group. They're just like, let's do it. Yep. Like, I don't need no, I don't gotta ask no questions. I don't need an explanation. Like, let's just do it. So I'll never forget, we got there that following Sunday morning. We prayed and you're like, okay. And they didn't understand, but I'm like, guys, like, this is something we're gonna have to keep. Bad. Like, so that was my initial fleshy reaction. But then once your spirit is in tune with God and you're able to discern the things that he wants you to discern, you will know, especially as a friend, how to handle certain situations. Because now, if I had handled that situation off of emotion, we probably wouldn't even be friends. No, we wouldn't. But being able to know, like, all right, some things, well, all things should be handled through your spirit, man, because obviously we're called to be more like God. I had to make sure I handled that correctly the way God would have wanted me to. So that's why even when we had those conversations when I'm like, Val, I care about you, I love you, and you just sitting there like, okay, like that's why it didn't faze me, because I'm like, that's not her. Like, I was so strong in my spirit. I was like, that's not her, so it's not even gonna faze me. I'm like, all right, I'm okay. So like once you know and you're like locked in with God, like, so that was my second half of my reaction. Like, all right, I gotta get her out. Like, God, what's next?
Oh, that was long, guys. That was a long.
That was a long 6 months.
Jesus, it was so long. But I'm so glad you fought. I'm so glad you fought like crazy, because I needed it. So it matters who's in your circle, because they can harm you or they can help you. My circle helped me, and I'm so grateful for my circle, and I appreciate you guys so much. You're part of my circle, obviously. But the rest of you guys, gotta shout out to your circle. I love you guys so much, and thank you for praying for me and fighting for me, and also when it finally came time, praying with me.
Yeah.
Because at first it's always I feel like sometimes it's like you're fighting for them, and then eventually they're fighting with you to get over that. So I love my friends. I love them, guys. I love you guys so much. So for our friendship, I feel like we've gone through so many trials. Wouldn't you say? You don't think we've gone through trials?
I'm trying to remember. We've been friends for a long time.
What, 5 years?
A good amount, sure.
Yeah, I also we've gone through a couple trials.
Okay,
and
yeah.
If it was any other like friendship, I don't think we would have been friends. Mm-hmm. Would you say that?
As far as like outside of the spiritual?
Yeah, outside of like the spiritual. Like,
oh yeah, I would have been like, girl, please.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I feel like the reason why we've lasted so long when it comes to our friendship is because we had God.
Yeah.
Because God was helping us. Because if it was any other friendship, honestly, it would have been done. Like, it was just from the first time, it would have been done. Like, so it matters having God-centered friendship.
Yeah.
Because when you don't want to do things in your flesh, your spirit man then takes over. Because then it's not just you. Mm-hmm. So I feel like it's so impactful. I'm not saying you can't have non-holy friends. I'm not saying that, because you have to have like interaction with different people and things like that. Like, obviously, because Jesus had many interaction with people, and we're told to be like Jesus. But it's like those core friendship, those core people you want to be there for. You see yourself being old and wrinkly with. It matters to have God at the center, because that's the foundation. Yeah. And that's what it's like. Even with just any relationship, in honest, like it's friendships and relationships are already hard as it is. But I feel like having God in it makes it easier to fight with that person. Yeah. Easier to fight for that person, because it's not just you. Mm-hmm. You know something else is calling you. Something else is in you. It's bigger than you. Mm-hmm. So I feel like it matters to have God-centered relationship. Yeah. Like just God in the center with. I mean, it's going to be, I'm not saying it's easy. No, nothing in life is easy. Yeah. But it makes it a little bit easier in a sense. Mm-hmm. So I recommend it. You recommend it?
Absolutely.
And I was reading a lot of scriptures, and I'm going to just say a couple of them. You guys can read it on your own. But these are the scriptures I feel like talked to my spirit. Mm-hmm. Proverbs 18:24 is my favorite one. It's my favorite one, guys. I'm gonna read this one, because I feel like it's the whole concept of this, but it's literally my favorite. It says, Proverbs 24, there are friends who destroy each other, but real friends stay closer than a brother. Mm-hmm. Because like it's like friends sometimes can become family. Yeah. And as much as sometimes you like to pull away, and I mean sometimes with a healthy, but family is family. Like those are the people who, despite anything, will still be there for you, depending on the relationship. Granted. Right. But I feel like when it comes to like good family relationship, you will always be there for that person, no matter what. Like you will go to war for that person, you will lay your life for that person, things like that. So I like that, because it's like it's closer than a brother. Yeah. Like, it's just something different when you have God in it. And then there's Colossians.
Colossians, you got it.
Okay, see, I had it. Galatians 6:2. All NLT. I own everything NLT. God, I love NLT. Lord. Proverbs 17:17, John 15:13, and 1 Corinthians 15:33. In your spare time, look up these passages. It gives you an example of what it means to have a friendship, how it embodies it. Like last episode, the Bible's the Constitution, and the more I read my passages and things like that. It literally awakes things in me. Just like last night, like she was exposing me. The reason why I was texting her that, I was literally reading and studying what this is, and I was like, I didn't feel like I was an adequate friend enough. I didn't feel like I added value to her, but like just because of the definition of what it is, I didn't think so. And it like I was like, I had to text her, make sure we're still good, because I was reading Matthew. I started reading Matthews, and in Matthews 5:23, it tells you like, before you do something, like go to like do something for God, make sure you're on one accord with a friend, because you don't want to do something and present it on a God if that friend is mad at you.
Yeah.
Because that person can snitch on you to God, and God gonna get you. Because how you gonna like how am I gonna kind of try to preach a godly friendship if I'm not living in one? I didn't want God to strike me. So I had to make sure we was on one accord. Especially if I was feeling it, I was like, wait, I don't know if I can do this. So I was just texting. I was fighting. I was like, should I text her? Am I being dramatic? No. Maybe I'm being dramatic. And then I sent it, and I went to sleep. Because I couldn't go to sleep. I was literally reading and tossing, and I was like, God, like, huh? Oh, okay.
All right.
I literally sent the text, and I went to sleep after that because it was just bothering me. So it's like I said, like, I want to do everything unto God. I want to make sure I'm on one accord with God and things like that. So it's like, if I'm, like, sometimes you can't rely on your emotions and things because like it gets you in trouble. Like,
Sometimes, all the time.
Yeah. So like it's deceiving things like that. So I was like, I wanted to make sure it's like, is this God tugging on my heart, like making sure we're good, or is it like my flesh? But like, I felt like it was my flesh a little bit, and God was like one pushing me, like, make sure if you're feeling this way, make sure you guys are okay before you go and talk about things. So like, I don't want it to be awkward or anything, but I was being dramatic, guys. She loves me. So
Sometimes,
obviously, but I love you. I
Love you too,
appreciate you, and I honor you so much. You have no idea. I love you so much, even though she don't love me all the time, guys. I love her
my
because
moments.
it's like the Bible says. Sometimes you don't get anything in return, but I know she loves me.
Love you too.
Okay, so thank you for being on
Thank you.
Val's Corner Part 2.
Thank you for having me.
You know, I don't know if you're gonna be back again. We'll see.
We'll see.
Yeah, because I be having to get hurt. But thank you again.
Thank you. And on behalf of my family, too, because I know we all feel the same. We love and appreciate you. You do a lot, not only as a friend, but now you know my grandfather as, you're his granddaughter and all this stuff. So I appreciate even the little things that you do that help out so much.
Oh, I love you guys. You guys are literally
Me too. All right, stop.
my second family. I freaking love you guys so much. Even though sometimes guys, this is the people I always talk about when I say I overstay my welcome, guys. And they still accept me. I don't know why sometimes. But I love them. I love your family so much. Like, guess I've become my second family at this point. But thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
And this was a good episode. I like it. It was very personal. People got to know us a little bit in our relationship. But thank you guys for listening. I hope this has blessed you. I hope our relationship is an example of what you wanted your friend to be. And when you're out there looking for a friend and needs example, I hope this help you in finding a good friend, because it really matters who you're surrounded by, because those people will help you and uplift you. So I hope this episode blessed you. And my producer always said, like, comment, subscribe, share, all that good stuff. And again, my amazing producer, Vanessa Films, hit her up. And I'll catch you guys next episode.
Stay tuned.